Hello.
Hey.
Well, hello.
Hello, Julie and everybody.
Happy early St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And Tammy is wearing the green, and I
Wearing
forgot.
my green. I'm an Irish gal, so I have to participate. I don't have to, but
So,
I want to.
and Jake is not wearing the green, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
See, we just looked up for a little bit of a
Jakey, we are two psychic moms. It is Tuesday, March 15th. And we have some juicy questions today. Yeah. So if you are new to us, we actually met through East West Bookstore. We were both there at almost the same length of time for about a little more than 8 years, I guess. And but we always had differing days and differing times that we were ships that never passed in the night, or passed in the night, whatever. And so we finally met after the brouhaha with East West Book. So anyway, and we just connected, and so we became two psychic moms. So that's us. So Tammy Langowski of Tammy's Intuitive Service.
Yeah.
And she's going to tell you where you can find her.
Sure. So you can find me on my website, tammysintuitive.com. I have a contact form there. I do give private sessions I work as an intuitive advisor to your questions with clairaudience, clairvoyance, and I have some things on social media as Tammy's Intuitive Services, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So check him out if you get a chance. About you, Julie.
I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic. I can be found at juliehawkins.com or bizpsychic.com. We're two psychic moms, and some earlier YouTube videos under Biz Psychic. Might be the Biz Psychic, you have to search. But there's lots of juicy stuff there. So as I fix my hair, right? So you can, a lot of recordings there and a lot of questions. So you might find something, and a lot of it's timeless. So you might find some things there that resonate for you.
Exactly.
Of course, I give private readings as well. I'm sorry, what, Tammy?
Oh, good. Thank you. I should mention too that I had this is the Jake, hopefully got a glimpse of him. I did a clairaudient convo with him and did a little video on the social medias. It's on TikTok and the other ones too. Did forget to mention I do have a YouTube channel, another one besides what Julie and I do. Tammy's channel chats with some more channeled messages. So
you can catch us just in a variety of places.
That's right.
And occasionally we talk about our cats. So we talk about what's going on, spiritually, interesting questions, sometimes social, political, religion, just a plethora, a spectrum of inquiries.
Yeah. Okay, philosophical questions and all kinds of good ones. So we appreciate everybody who's been, writing in. So we do have a couple today that we're going to address.
We do.
Do you want to read it? It came to you, that particular one. So
I thought I'd start with the downer one. And then move into they're saying they're never downers. It's always it may feel that way to you as humans, but it's always information, and that's the way we want you to take it, is as information. Mm-hmm. That's why you're asking to get information and knowledge, and so that you can learn, grow, and evolve personally and however else. Oh, hello, Bella.
And our cats are all making appearances today.
I know. Do you want to come up? No, maybe later. Okay. Yeah. So come on. You can, no, they're funny about, can I? I don't know. How can I do it? All right, here we go. They
like to take their time making a decision.
Come on, you can do it. Come on. All right. So Lisa asks us, it's a difficult question for me to, it's a difficult situation. Yeah, sorry about the sniffling. I'm writing to you because I wanted to check in with Spirit and ask what they make of all that is happening in the world with regard to Ukraine and Russia and so on. it would be really good to know what is happening on a spiritual level. There's so many prayers going on for peace and for Putin to be removed somehow. I left it up to God to decide this. Well, it's out of our control for sure, as humans. They're like, that's an interesting, okay. That as a monopoly of consciousness, something good or positive has to come out of this. So I'm touching base to see what you might have discovered on a metaphysical, spiritual level. So I'm going to read it again. And since you're connecting and listening and asking, you might as well see if you get anything. So what's happening on a metaphysical, spiritual, why is this happening level in Ukraine and with Putin?
Okay, so first thing I'm receiving is, not too surprising. There is an agreement here for conflict. And it is playing out before your eyes at this very time. So many souls are involved naturally in this decision. And agreement, meaning what we mean by that is, nobody consciously wants to do this necessarily. I can't say nobody, because you can have leaders who really are in that kind of state of mind where they kind of like, maybe some of this stuff. But I think you understand what we mean by that. It's, it's consciously, it didn't necessarily come this way, but I'm feeling before coming into this lifetime, there was an agreement. So I think there is with really all conflict and potential to learn from it. But we could say throughout all wars, maybe, and all kinds of, past history conflicts, I would say, again, have been agreed upon to some degree before coming into this lifetime. Okay, let me see here. We'll see. I don't really make predictions, but what I'm hearing is this may not last for very much longer. I actually haven't asked that question. It just kind of came in. Let's hope so, obviously. And we're going to get to the spiritual part of the prayer part and like saying, prayers for it and so forth. Oh, really? Okay. They seem to think there's going to be a little bit of minimization. It's the word they said, of ego as a result of this, which is almost surprising to hear that. But there is something to be had for it. And there will be something that will make a difference. And it's going to be set an example. There's going to be an example set as a result of this that is starting to recognize how ego doesn't get to win, that maybe ego needs to take that back seat. So there is some awareness around this is what I'm getting, first of all. Okay, so this could play into the spiritual reasons kind of why some of these things are going on. Now, the prayers, guides, and the good intentions and visualizations that we put towards these kinds of things going on, this particular one, what's happening when that is happening? Well, they said it's helpful, of course, but it's always up to the individuals that are involved, how much they want to take on that energy, how much they want to recognize that it's there to help provide answers of a more, they're showing me peacemaking kind of world, peaceful energy. And then there is the fact that if one is too much in ego, then they're not seeing that. So the prayers and visualizations we are giving are necessary and really good. I mean, it's all great stuff. It's just as there is anything, right? We can pray for other people, but it's up to them ultimately to make a decision at times, right? Whether it's even if they're going to pass or not. And we pray maybe that they're healed and so forth. And there's sometimes that absolutely will pan out. Some of it's because of that person receiving that energy has decided to make a shift or change their minds on maybe when they're exiting. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but just giving an example. So we feel like more is to come, but keep the prayers solid. They do reach the individuals. They do reach the situation. They're just saying, in other words, of what's going on there. And it is helpful. It's just, they just showed me our eyes open. Are they open to receiving it and working with that energy? there is hope in prayer. We know that hope in visualization. And if people are ready, they will take it. And so I would say, again, the spiritual reasons are ones that go way back, they're telling me, with these two particular countries, we'll say, energetically, karmically, for sure, is what I get. So it's come to, you are part of it right now. They said, all of you are part of, you're privy to this playing out at this time between them. We don't think it's going to be much longer, though, before there is something changing in the Ukraine, Russia kind of situation. Yes, I'm just going to that. It does feel like they are going to be changing minds. Something changes here coming up, which will benefit all. So we hope so. That's what I'm getting. So I'll hand it over to you, Julie.
So I'm personally going to say I appreciate hearing that, and it reaffirms what my guide said. I think it was last week, that they also saw that it was not going to go on a lot longer. And again, we were like, well, what's a lot longer? Well, what is soon? What is, what's the time frame for that? So here's what when I kind of asked that, they're saying, here's what we say, that you as, there's a lot involved in this. You as a planet, or the people on the planet, have lost patience with this behavior, and the forces of good, of humanity, are pushing in to stop this. Unfortunately, there's a lot of casualties and innocent people, as we think of them as innocent people. I mean, they are innocent. And as we know, everybody has an agreement that they are living with, in terms of how they come in and go out. And sadly, that is the way it is for them. So I just want to check in it for a minute. And okay, so what I heard, what they showed me, is that there's going to be like some, I don't know how to express this, but some double dealing on the side of the those against Putin, US and all NATO and even China. And there's going to be some, what they say, double dealing in what they mean by that, or double agent. It's like the US and these countries are going to say one thing, and then they're going to have these agreements on the back end to bring in either equipment or something to help the Ukrainians even more, and at the same time work to get some kind of an agreement with Putin, because the world is just not going to stand for this anymore. It's just not.
Right.
There's something in my tooth, sorry. I hate that. So let's see what else. We're coming to a boiling point. Could be days, could be weeks. We're feeling the shorter end of that. Again, whether that's days and weeks, days run into weeks, and diplomacy takes a long time. But I'll just say for myself, I do watch the news. Because I am so angry and depressed about what is happening, and so I feel like I want to get tidbits of whatever's changing, whatever's happening, and then I get enough and I turn it off. I can't. And a lot of the experts are saying, oh, this is just going to go on for a long time, and Ukraine is going to continue to fight, as we agree that they will. But we see them as they showed me, raising the flag and winning, or at least holding on to their country and making some concessions that that Putin says he wants. Whatever, it's all a bunch of bullshit. but that is what has to go on the back end for Putin to retain his dignity around such an invasion. However, the rest of the world is saying we are not going to accept this, and they're working hard and they're working rapidly on the back end to come up with a variety of ways to fight back. So I don't think there's anything we can add as to why it's happening to Tammy's and her guides information. Everybody has agreements, and it is in line. And what we will say is there was such divisiveness globally that this is a way to bring everybody back to humanity, or at least most people, and say, we don't want this anymore. We don't want to have this kind of world. Our world is suffering enough, and we need to focus on other things. And this is unacceptable to us. And we're not going to have, the collective, most of the world are not going to have this, at least democratic countries. It does have to be a show of, if the democratic countries and NATO do not put a stop to this, it not only empower Putin to be more aggressive and go further, it will empower others. It will be a chaotic Wild West free-for-all again. And that's unacceptable. So so I'm asking about nuclear. We don't see anything nuclear happening at this moment in time. As you will remember, everything we have, everything we bring to you is a snapshot of this moment in time and what we feel energetically at this moment in time. And we feel a rising, oh, I'm glad I said that. We feel a rising tide of no more, no more, no more.
Yeah.
We're not going to stand for this anymore. There is no more. And America has to work behind the scenes with other countries to push back. So we concur, and we see it just really maybe a few weeks is what we're hearing before some sort of a change happens, some sort of a change. Can't say what that is really at this point.
Yeah.
We think for you in your world as humans we'll see that as good, but it can tip. That's the way it is. Things tip.
Yeah.
And that's the energy as of this moment.
And some of the similarities I think, that you and I are both getting is it's sounding like it doesn't feel like it's long, like this is going to go real long. And I agree totally, Julie, with what you got as well about it doesn't feel like we as a world want this anymore, which is a great step forward, even if it's happening now. And I'm sorry for all that's happening out there, and lives lost and all that. That it's very sad, but I think
criminal. I think they're war crimes.
Yeah,
killing
absolutely.
a maternity ward and children's hospital. I mean, okay, sorry, that was my.
Yeah, no, but I know it's true. So it is interesting. We're getting similar messages on that. That we're just not up for that anymore. I feel like Putin right now, if I look at his energy too, while he's still up here, he's in that ego and he's going this way. It's interesting to me because I almost feel like he's only got a few people really close to him around this in agreement. It's really strange. It's hard to even explain how I'm seeing it, but it's like, it's like maybe got a few people, but and I see people leaving him. I don't know if that will actually happen, but
they're definitely afraid of him. Those who, I mean, I did watch somebody who said, is there somebody in the news asked, is there a way for somebody around him to go to him and say, you have to stop this? And he's like, things don't happen that way in Russia. You either kill Putin and have a revolution, or it doesn't, there's not really negotiation, but we'll see, because, you know, the whole world pretty much is not tolerant of this anymore. So,
Agreed.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah, for that question. I mean, I hope that addresses that for you a little bit about, you know, some of the kind of spiritual part of it and so forth. Yeah. Okay.
So we also, we also have a question or several from Rudy, which I've wondered this myself from time to time. He says that going back to reincarnation, do you want to read this, or do you want me to just
go ahead? Yeah, go ahead and read it if you got it there.
Do we always reincarnate as a human, or can we choose what we come back as? And then there's more. How about other living organisms? Do they come back as the organism they left, or can a canary choose to be an eagle in its next incarnation, for instance, right?
Yeah, these are great questions. Really good questions.
I will say that I've heard along the way in my metaphysical path that if you're a human, you stay a human.
Mm-hmm.
An animal, you stay an animal. I personally don't hold to that. I don't think that that's a help. I think that's helpful, but let's see what the guides say about that. So, do you stay as a human? Do you reincarnate as? Can you reincarnate as something else along the way?
Right. So I'm going to say, do we always reincarnate as a human? If we are a human being, do we always reincarnate as a human? I get you do, for the most part. Now, human can, you know, if you're a human, you can also have lifetimes, though, extraterrestrial lifetimes, maybe in a different alien form of intelligence. That's what I'm hearing. So, you know, I've heard this before, and I have asked my guides about this before. There are, like Julie it's kind of alluding to or mentioned, there are varying answers on this, I think, from intuitives and so forth. So I can only say what I get. So what I always get, and that's why I'm asking it very directly to our guides, do we always, if we're human beings, do we always reincarnate, first of all, as a human? I get, again, yes, you will. You may have lifetimes where you choose to, they're showing me planetary, you know, but again, you're sort of in the same sort of intelligence, if not even more intelligent, sort of life form, you know. So I'd almost say you're human, or let's say above that, because we know there probably are some life forms that are way more intelligent than we are. And then you say, or can we choose what we come back as? Yes and no. So you know what, they are giving me, they're hinting back to a time when they mentioned to me before. So some people always say, oh man, I want to come back like a bird, you know, like I want to be a bird so I can fly and be free and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sounds lovely. And maybe that will be, I still can't say for sure it won't. I'm only going with my guides are telling me right now. What we say is you may experience those experiences, but you will have no real desire to be an actual bird if you have been a human being. Because there is no, while you may see, you would reap the benefits of understanding what it's like to be a bird, there is really no personal spiritual progression if you are a bird versus a human being. So human beings, you tend to, in each lifetime, they said you're building up more, how do we put it, guys? I know what you're referring to, but it's like more desire, I guess I'm just going to say that, to continue your growth and do other things and so forth, that really you can only do as a human being. However, you will have opportunity to be into the energy or around or feel what it is like to be a bird. So is it an incarnation as a bird? I'm getting no, but not saying you can't have the experience of what it feels like to step into that sort of energy and fly. But incarnation is different, they're saying. That's what they're telling me. Now, if I just finish the questions on my part here, we'll say, how about other living organisms? Let's say, because that's a good question too. Do they only come back as the organism they left as, or can a canary choose to be an eagle in its next incarnation? Yes. Much like we could choose to be an extraterrestrial, on another planet. We can't, they can. So yes, we would say, I hate to say as a rule, but that's almost how I'm hearing it. Kind of what you said at the beginning, Julie, is that generally animals will stay in the animal world of incarnations because I feel it. I'm trying to get the words for it. It's like that's what they know. That's how they progress. They're interested in progressing in what they have chosen to be. There are some very intelligent animals who we will look at animals and think, man, they're like a person. We all have had an animal like that or a pet, right? Or we come across one. It just means their level of intelligence in their realm of an animal is really high. They don't generally have a desire themselves even to be a human. But yes, they may want to be. Okay, I'm going to stop now and say my own experience of many animals that I've talked to. They have had many lifetimes as different things. I once talked to a buffalo that was standing by Old Faithful before it went off. We were waiting for it to, erupt to whatever you call what the those things do. And I was having a conversation with it, and he told me that he was once a toad. And I laughed at that and I said, a toad? And he says, yeah, like a frog. I said, well, I know what a toad is, but I just can't believe you were a toad. And you obviously want to share that with me because you knew I'd be amused by that because he was such a big guy now, But I've talked to my animals, my cat's been my daughter's pet squirrel in a prior lifetime. So what I find is that the animals tend to switch around. Human beings stay, for the most part, human beings. But then again, we know that's all different experiences a human being can have in a lifetime, right? I mean, you can be living high on the hog, so to speak, or you could be down in the depths of, poverty. And that's a whole big different experience in each category. So anyway, so that's what they're saying to that. I just wanted to add that because I have talked to many who say that. So yes, I would say from what I'm getting, Rudy, that a canary can absolutely choose to be an eagle in its next incarnation. I will say too that one of my animals showed me being an octopus, which I found interesting. One of my cats, had mainly cats. And dinosaur. I got a dinosaur for one of mine. That was pretty amazing. In fact, they even had me, brontosaurus. It was a brontosaurus. It was our cat now, one of our cats now. And I could even, again, I wouldn't have gone here and thought about this, but I could smell the clean air in ways that we can't imagine. I guess it's like pure oxygen. Like if you've ever had, oxygen put into your nose or something where it's just it's almost like it hurts. That's what it was, so clean. And that was amazing to me because I would never, ever have thought about that or even just thinking about, that experience itself. But it's like he took me there in that, but he was a brontosaurus. That's what I got. So I'm sticking to it. My story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway.
All kinds of things were coming in. So,
okay.
So I can tell you when the collective says one thing and then Alarie says something else. So we want you to remember that this is not about a soul evolution. We see what you call your soul as perfect anyway. It is the human evolution that you are always looking for. Okay, remember the oars in the boat. You're always looking for your oar to be more perfect, to be better, to grow more, and that's why you have that. Your soul is the boat or the canoe that holds all those oars. So we see your soul as perfect. There is nothing to be gained in that respect. And we are amused by the confusion that we see exists out there about that. But your soul is perfect the way it is, or what you call your soul. It's really just a vessel or a container. Your lives, your human lives, are what you strive to have as to evolve and grow and become better and better and better. And And so from that respect, we see you as sticking to being human, okay? Or sticking to being an animal, or in the, amoeba world, whatever, organism world. Now, Alarie says to me, Alarie's laughing, you limit yourselves, and that's okay, by believing that you need to stay in a certain genre, or, well, I'm just going to use those words, genre. You are energy and matter. Matter can change form, energy can change form. And while we agree that, generally speaking, humans almost always come from humans and go back to humans, there are occasions where you might take a side trip and decide that you want to come back as a cat, because there's something important to be learned from that existence, which I fully believe happened for me. I'm sensitive to all animals, but I am particularly sensitive to cats. And I think that's because I had a lifetime as one, just one lifetime. Not a very long one, long enough to get what I needed to evolve and come back and evolve as a human. And so that was my side trip. And you can make agreements to have those side trips, your agreements, your matter, your energy. You can do anything you want with it. Anything you want. You limit yourself by believing otherwise. And that's okay. The human race needs that rule and that confinement until it no longer does, and it evolves to a different, you like to call them dimensions. And one day that will happen for humans. They're showing me like sliding in dimensions, whatever that means. He said, you see, we don't tell you a lot of that stuff because it's hard for your human brain to understand that. Mm-hmm. No offense intended, and none taken here. We're limited. We are limited as humans. They are all in agreement. You will experience some of this when you come back into the non-physical. And some of it you will retain when you come back. It's what has happened to you, Julie. You have taken some of this from a non-physical experience and now can bring it forward. And that's why I give this to you, because you can understand that matter can be anything. Energy can be anything. It is just a case of manipulating it. And that's as far as I think we're going to go on that. But your imagination, oops, there's more. Your imagination makes up for what you cannot achieve by manipulating your energy and your matter.
Well, there's two different perspectives here now. Some of it's the same.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and Julie and I have, I wonder too, like when you're describing about being as a cat, see, that's where they're talking about you can have the experience of the energy of that, but not necessarily an incarnation. That's what they're saying.
Right.
But not to say you didn't. I mean, if that's your experience, then I certainly can't say otherwise.
Currently,
so yeah, I mean, again, I think that's maybe why we just have there, because really it is true. There are beliefs that, yeah, you can be whatever you want. Though another way too that my guides will sometimes say is, a very typical question where somebody say, hey, my husband passed away. And then I keep getting this, I'll just say hummingbird that keeps hovering in front of my window. Is that him? And what my guides say to that is it's not him, but he is part of the, he helped bring the hummingbird to you. I guess is basically, because animals love to be messengers. I don't mean slave-like, like do everything humans tell them all the time to go do this, do that, but they do like that because they're healers by nature. So if they can partner with a human being that says, hey, can you go, or a spirit, I should say, right? Can you go visit my wife and she'll get it. She'll know it's from me because maybe I loved hummingbirds, so that's what they will say to that question too, because that question does come up a lot also.
We agree. We agree. 100%.
Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, it's great that that our loved ones will, and these beautiful, sweet animals and insects and whatever they may be, are on board with that and helping.
Yeah. It transmuting into some other life form is not something that you are prepared for at this time in your evolution as human beings. And so that is why you're not given this information. How does it serve you really? But them telling me that, that I took a side trip as a cat, I get that. And it does make me, and I can feel it in my body. I can feel what it's like to be a cat. And not just the energy. I can't explain it. And there are, he's saying to me, there are few that choose to do that, not many. And that's okay. It's wherever you are in your journey. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those questions, Rudy. They were really great. I gave a little bit of insight for you.
And I appreciate hearing the a little bit of the different viewpoint too. I mean, we agree on some things, and then Allery is like, I have so much I could teach you, and I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready to hear it, but we'll see.
I know.
I mean, really, I'm just going to be honest with that. I don't know. And he says I am patient. Oh, good, because I am not.
Well, we're all going to be privy to so much, when we go back home, especially if we don't know somebody's, so many things will kind of be shown to us.
They're saying to me, if you, when you die and you become non-physical energy, why would you not believe that you could be some different form of non-physical energy? It makes complete sense.
Yes, but what I say to that, Julie, is I get that, but I also say, but what they keep showing me is, as the evolution of a human being, we're already setting our sights on a lot of things of our next lifetime. So we don't really think about, I want to be this for a while, or, we really are, just wanting to climb that ladder.
I don't disagree.
Eager.
I don't disagree with that. My lifetime as a cat was thousands of years ago. It was not current. Many thousands.
No, it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
So
it is, yeah. We don't completely know, do we? Until again we're out and we kind of see the bigger picture of things. And
I think at some point, they're saying to me, and I think we'll close with this, but let's put this out there to you all and see what shows up for next week about this. It's much like you talk about prior civilizations and the impact they have on you, like Atlantis or Lemuria or whatever. And so we would love to have more of a conversation with you about that. So ask questions, not just ask questions and send them to us, please. For that.
Love them. For sure.
Okay. Are we done?
I think we are done.
Cat stuff this week. I don't think I have any cat stuff. My rental unit is 99% there. I'm going to start getting that out there to rent, and I feel so much better.
Oh God, I bet. I know. That's a lot. It's a lot going through construction and things like that. So
I don't want to go through that again. And
yeah, I know. We always say that, don't we?
So
all right.
Yes. So we are so grateful for your time and attention and your questions. They're so important, so significant. And so please continue to submit them. Go to Dream State as well and bring back questions from Dream State. Tammy?
Yeah. Well, What more do I have to say? What I did say is, we've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. So embrace your ethnicity and who you are, whether you're Irish or you're something else. But it's, just that's what I got, is embracing who you are. Ethnicity is just about really who you are in this particular lifetime and the experience you've chosen. We've had many lifetimes of different ethnicities and celebrated those as well. But happy St. Patrick's Day on coming up on Thursday for those of you who love that stuff. So.
And you can be Irish for the day.
That's right.
And
That's
I will be Irish for the day.
Give you the luck of the Irish. Just blew it to you.
And go out there and play with your elementals, right?
Yep, you betcha. Absolutely.
Until next week, it is Tuesday, March 15th. We are two psychic moms, and we just are so grateful and appreciative for your support. Please pass this along and ask those to subscribe so we can have more questions, because there's a billion out there, right?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for viewing us. We really appreciate that. So we will see you next time. Bye.